Welcome to the Mediacasters with your business besties, Karina Belizzi and Julie Loken. In every episode, you'll get behind-the-scenes access to experts who share their struggles and successes in podcasting, publishing, and presenting. So grab a pen, grab your bestie, and kick it with Karina and Jules.
I'm grabbing a pen. Wait, and I'm grabbing my bestie.
I'm so happy to see you. How are you?
I am so good. I mean, tonight blows my mind, and it is nighttime here in Chicago. And usually I'm settling into bed and watching my favorite show, like that I binge watch. And I can't believe they're here. Goosebumps.
Oh my God. Okay, so I will just say that I feel like this is the perfect follow-up to our episode where we featured Joe Kenda just a couple episodes ago.
Oh my.
Oh my, my.
Yeah.
So anybody who is into this whole world of true crime and even investigations, if you're curious about learning
amazing
about what that world is like, then we have a treat and show for you.
This is beyond a treat for me. I may cry, but it's tears of joy. So today, you guys, our favorite people in the whole world, we are talking to investigator Chris Anderson and Fatima Silva, the stars, goosebumps, of Investigation Discovery's hit show Reasonable Doubt. And let's bring them up onto stage because I cannot wait a second longer. Oh, wait.
Well, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait, Julie. No, you have to wait. You know the reason.
Okay.
We've got to give all of our audience a teaser, this wonderful teaser that they've given us the honor of being able to play for all of you. So if you guys are on YouTube, you're going to be able to see this yourselves. Just a minute 19, little teaser, a taste of this incredible show called Reasonable Doubt.
Can I say one thing first?
Yes, you can. Always.
Watch Chris's face because you can tell what he's thinking by his lips. And watch Fatima's perfect hair. I mean, she always has perfect hair. So.
Oh my.
Oh my. Let's do it. Let's kick it, Karina.
Let's kick it.
In any homicide investigation, you're usually looking for three elements: motive, means, and opportunity. With Patrick, he's probably the only person that has any motive to kill his wife. We know that he has the means, but I don't know if he has the opportunity. That timeline is so tight.
But we can't ignore how volatile that marriage was. There's really nobody else with that motive.
So tomorrow I talk with Patrick. And after reviewing this case, I'm really interested in the relationship that he and Deborah had. He's never really showed a whole lot of emotion. I just want to figure out how their relationship was. Was he excited about being a new dad?
I'd like to know who he thinks could have done this. I don't want to hear, well, I just don't know, I've thought about it and I can't think of anyone. We need something because that's not going to be somebody random. Mm-hmm. So tomorrow I have a really important interview. It's with Deborah's daughters. I'm going to talk to them about what they knew about the marriage, what Patrick was like. I want to know, did they witness any violence?
There are a lot of open wounds in this case. It's been 25 years, and nobody has been able to move forward. If we don't get this right, there won't be any healing.
Wow.
Bone chilling. It's amazing. Look who's here, everybody.
Look at these beautiful people. We're in the presence of giants here. Mm-hmm.
Literally giants.
Wait, how tall is Fatima and how tall is Chris?
Yep.
I'm only 5'6".
Chris is 6'5".
You're 6'5". Oh wow.
6'5". Yeah.
Giants.
You know what's funny is everybody always talks about how tall he is, and I'm always like, is Chris that tall? Like, just maybe I feel like we're equal.
That's probably it.
Like you're that tall.
Well, and when you're sitting down across from one another, as you were in that minute 19 little preview into what your show is, I mean, gosh, it just gives us the sense that the work you're doing is so important. I mean, people's lives are on the line, and there's so much pain and misery that surrounds anything as dramatic as one of these defining and terrible moments, right? Where you lose a loved one. It is just such an emotional journey. So what I wanted to start this conversation by asking you is just what motivates you to do this, and how do you feel as you're starting to dig into one of these cases?
for me, and I'm sure it's the same for Fatima, we always have considered ourselves to be justice seekers, no matter which side of the law that we sit on. We both are justice seekers. So, for us, we never want to take either side of these investigations or these cases very lightly, because there are, we never want to open up we don't never want to open up a wound on either side. But if there are questions that still remain after a homicide investigation, a homicide trial, then those questions need to be answered. And that's what Fatima and I try to do.
Absolutely. I think, I like that question because it does make me think about myself and what, drives me in doing this work. Because it is hard work. It's emotionally tolling. It's physically tolling. It's a lot of travel. It's leaving your family. It's living out of hotel rooms, and it's not glamorous. And so, there's moments that we're like, ooh, this is glamorous. Look at this. I mean, barely.
You're a little glamorous. You got a little glam, girl. Come on.
Say that
I'm going to talk about this. Oh, you do have hair and makeup. Oh, you're
Yeah.
so.
I do have hair. Hello, this is me at home. This is what you would get on TV.
You have a glam squad.
Yes,
amazing.
they saw me and they were like, this mom needs a glam squad. And she's our glam squad is Ching, and she's amazing. She does Chris too, not just me. So
Yeah.
that's why
Chris has a glam squad. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've gotten to the point now I don't want to do anything without Ching being around us.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're like, you're gonna film me. I mean,
Where's
Right.
Ching
get
now? Like, where's Ching now?
LA.
She's home. I wish she
We
was
need
here.
her.
We need
But
her here.
really, it comes down to, my whole life has been pretty much seeking justice. That's what I do. And I think that the kind of people that do that kind of work are those who have just a large amount of empathy. And empathy comes from, your own struggle, your own loss, your own suffering. And when you've experienced it, when you've experienced being mistreated, not, being treated equal, being overlooked, not feeling like you have the resources or your voice is being heard in the midst of something really difficult, you do what you can to help others when that experience arises for them. So I think I know that's where mine and Chris's drive comes from.
I like how you both can speak for each other. You're like, I know.
We know each
Fatima
other
agrees.
that well.
We know each other so well.
You guys are in the trenches, though, and you guys are meeting with families who really want to exonerate their family member or loved one who is incarcerated, typically life sentence without parole. And I mean, I've seen Fatima cry a handful of times on the podcast, maybe on the podcast too, on the actual show. What has been the most striking, life-changing experience doing this TV show? Because you're a defense attorney, you are a former detective, Chris Anderson, yet you are back in the game.
I live in the Bay, and there are helicopters outside my house right now, probably looking for someone. There's probably
Are you running out there like,
So I
who
just
can I
wanna
help? Who can I help?
I might have to go close the door.
That's okay. We love you. Okay, so Chris, take the question.
I can go ahead and take the
you
question.
Take it.
These cases are extremely emotional. They're a roller coaster because look, you guys get to see just an hour of, Fatima and I talk for hours and hours and hours throughout the entire week when we're doing these investigations. And sometimes we land on this season. I can say we landed on the same side for the majority of the cases that we looked into.
So do you mean like when you meet with somebody, you're both like guilty? Innocent?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Okay.
No. It's after the investigations have been done. Even after, there's some times where we're not on this. We don't know where we're landing or know where each other are landing after our debriefs. The portion of the 1 minute and 25 second teaser that y'all just showed, those are our debriefs. That's when Fatima and I on camera come together
and on
talk
camera,
about
a minute of that. We're really there
Yeah.
a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah, we're there
You're
for hours.
summarizing it, and they're just
Yeah,
going
we're just
flipping back
summarizing
and
the
forth.
case.
To
They
the-
pick what's juicy, and I'm like, you missed a whole good dialogue there.
Right.
Television.
Right,
We don't
because
understand that part.
because it's usually just she and I talking, and they'll take bits and pieces out of it, and they'll kind of say, okay, well, Chris, instead of saying it like this, say it like this way, But at any rate, it's
Reality
very
of TV. That's the
right.
reality, isn't it?
It's very
And we're
emotional
so
for
bad at it, honestly.
Right.
Like they
You
ask
guys
us
are
to
not.
reduce. No, we are. No, we're bad at the TV. We're great at playing ourselves, but then they'll
Right.
say, like our producer, I love him, God bless him. He'll be like, "Can you just say that with a little more like oomph?" And I'm like,
Right.
"What is oomph? Like what? That's how I said it. That's what I meant." And now then I'm like, "You
people
want me
don't-
to
Oh,
act
so you're
it?"
getting directed in
people
the
don't
scenes.
people don't realize we're not
Sometimes.
actors. Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it's rare. Like those scenes, like our debriefs are, those that's where we're getting most of the direction from. But
And we probably need it because there's times, honestly, it's a long week. Like when we're diving into these cases, Chris and I get very little sleep. We can be texting. I know that if I'm going to text my brother at like 3 a.m, he's going to respond. Chris is going to respond to me because he's up and I'm like, I need this, or what are your thoughts on this? So sometimes we have moments where they're in our ear and they're like, can you wake up a little bit in this conversation? So that's when they'll redirect us. Like, can you say that again with your eyes fully open? And I'm like, ugh. And when I'm tired, I'm so moody. I feel bad for everyone, the whole crew, because it's like, give Fatima Snickers or something, give her a 5-minute nap.
Well, I've done a bit of directing in my time in the Natural Channel when it comes to creating some content, and what I'll say is often, especially if the talent gets into the jargon, then you know that the audience might not understand what they're saying. So you have to stop things and kind of, hey, like, how do we say this a little bit more simply so that the audience can come with us on this journey? And that's a tough thing to do. This is why there's so much production around reality TV even, or, what you're doing is this kind of, it's a deep investigation that's being televised in bits and pieces, and then they have to make it all make sense in a TV show format that's going to be told in an hour each week, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's
exactly
the reality is, we're in the middle of these deep, hard conversations, intense material that we're investigating, researching our conversations. And then in the midst of it, sometimes you just get that director who comes out and goes, can you do that again? And we're like, no, absolutely not. But we do, because we're good employees. We're good at talent, they call us on the show. But it is difficult. What I can say is the way that we get through the weeks of work that we do is we are like a family on the road. So this is season 5. I've been on 4 seasons. I'd say majority of our crew have been the same people. And there was one season where I was telling, somebody helping me with the contract, I'll do it again just because I, love everybody I work with. And she goes, I've never heard that reason. And it's true. We really are a family. I feel like the people who work with us, they are seeking truth just as much. Our camera guys, like all the crew, our makeup artists, everybody wants to talk about the cases, wants to be a part of it. They're behind the scenes crying with us. So it's nice to have that.
And being on the road, I mean, particularly Fatima, who has a young family, I don't know specifically about Chris. What kind of toll does it take being on the road and being a superstar and coming home and being with your children or partner? It's got to be like adjustments all the time.
Chris is an empty nester. He's lucky.
He's like, it's no problem. My wife likes when I leave.
I know, right? Look, I think me traveling has been good for my marriage.
Yeah.
My wife gets to travel every once in a while. But being away, it's just, I've been in the game for a long time. I've been doing this for a while now. So plus I don't have young kids, and I know how hard it is for Fatima. I know that this takes a toll on her because she has a young son at home. And look, God love Luke. He is a trooper. The kid, I see our first season. Well, I'm sorry, not our first season, but after he was born, this kid had more flights than anything, and she's a different person.
Oh wait,
as a mom.
Did you give birth to him and then you started?
He was traveling with us at 2 months old.
Oh wow, that's so
yeah.
fun.
That season was brutal because I had
I believe it.
very little sleep. God bless, my husband was on the road with us. He was filming all the murders with us. He did it for 6 months. And then we realized I'm never doing that again. So now I leave him, and it is hard. Mom guilt, So as soon as we're back,
We know
from
mom
filming,
guilt, girl. We know
yes, and I have it bad, because then what I do is when I come home, I probably could use a nice recharge, but instead I dive into momming. My husband's like, "Here you go, bye," and because we're gone 2 weeks a month. And so we do that for about 5-6 months. And so when I get home, I hit the ground running with momming and with my office. I'm still a local defense attorney. I still accept cases. So I kind of just try to do it all. And by the end of the season, we are burnt out. Like our final scene, this last episode, our final scene, they kept having us redo something. The audio wasn't working or something. And Chris and I are just like, just cut. Like, we're done. Like, we're done. Just say we're done. Because we were just so exhausted with the season. You hit a point where you realize the content is so heavy. Eventually you need, before you have a breakdown, you need a break.
Yeah. So can you talk to us about how you guys first got into this? How did the show happen? What led to it?
Oh, wow. Okay, so our producer, the creator of the show, is a guy by the name of Rob Rosen. Rob is we call him he's a genius when it comes to producing television. To come up with this type of show, nobody would have ever thought to put together a former cop and a defense attorney together, because we rarely work together as a team in the courts. So bringing these two different perspectives in on a case so heavy as a homicide case, where there are questions if it was a correct or a wrongful conviction, it takes somebody that has is an outside of the box type thinker, and that's exactly what Rob Rosen is. So when I was contacted by the show, I was about to retire from my first job, with the Birmingham Police Department as a detective supervisor, and they called me and asked me, said, "Look, man, we know you're still working, and but do you know of any detectives that were a part of the first show that I was on that are about to retire?"
First 48.
That was First 48, correct. So and like I said, I don't want to talk to you about the God moments that's within this show, but that this was the reason why I'm a part of the show is it was all God. God set forth the motions, because when they called me, they were looking for somebody that was about to retire. Well, I was about to retire. It was maybe 3 or 4 days before on my last day, I was actually training my replacement. That's how close to retirement I was. So, we go through the motions. I get on a Zoom call, and after about 3 months of me waiting and not hearing anything, they give me a call back and say, "Man, we've been trying to get back in contact with you," because I had turned in my phone number that I gave them to contact me. And the rest is kind of history. I did the first season. I had another partner, and then they brought my other half along, that's Fatima, and we have been going for 4 seasons now together. This is our 5th season with Reasonable Doubt. And I mean, I don't think the show would be as good as it was without Fatima. I'll say that for anybody, because she makes me a better investigator. And we understand each other. We know where each other stands. And I think it just, you can see it. You'll be able to see it tonight if you watch the episode. We're just a better partnership. We have a better partnership because we understand each other so well.
Yeah. Well, what I will say, I just watched episode 1 of season 5, which is Guiltless or Heartless, very aptly named, which really set the stage, I think, for, the entire season. And I'm hooked. I want to go watch the rest of it. Honestly, I saw a strong, what looks like kindred spirit chemistry with you both on screen. And I think it just showcases for the entire community, you can be on the same side, even if you don't have the same idea of what the outcome will be. And if we get more collaboration in law enforcement, then I think we'll have better outcomes overall, right?
Absolutely.
That's why we applaud Rob Rosen, our producer, is because it is progressive to have a show like this. And it started back in 2017 or 2016. I can't remember, Chris. Doesn't matter because I wasn't on that season.
That's right, girl.
Anyway, but I mean, the truth is, it's what you now are seeing in a lot of different prosecutors' offices across the country is now integrity units that are gathering defense attorneys, investigators, experts, basically everything we have on our show, bringing them together and taking a second look at cases and saying, this needs a review. Is it a wrongful conviction? And so the fact that we can work together and you know, Chris gets heat, I get heat, we're over it. We don't care. I remember my, you know, like my first season, somebody had called me the biggest insult I could ever have, which was, they were like, she's like a prosecutor. And I really, you know, took it to heart and I was like, I can't do this show. You know, people think that I'm not good at my job at being a defense attorney. And I just constantly needed the reminders for a few seasons that I'm not a defense attorney on this show. I'm on this show because of my experience, because of our ability, our backgrounds, our expertise to look at evidence, but in an objective light, one that is actually going to bring about justice and truth. And so if the truth is that that person likely did it, then we are here to free the family, not to free the convict. These people, there was an episode last week, and a lot of people have even said, like, that was a strange episode because if you saw it, you know, they were like, she's obviously guilty. You know, we still looked in.
It? Which one?
Laverne Fields.
Okay.
And so we still looked into it because if you watch the episode, these children, they are begging for permission to move on in life, but they're not sure. And just because everybody else is sure, everybody's got an opinion, everybody's a little, you know, one of those true crime sleuths getting on there and having their own, you know, opinion, which is wonderful. We appreciate it. But these are people's lives. And these are children who have lost their mother for life in prison. And they need answers. And they're begging for some answers so that they could actually have a quality life. We don't take that lightly. So we're not going to sit there and go, but it's pretty obvious. Or, you know, we really do look at the case and go, is it possible? Because sometimes when it's pretty obvious to people, those convictions have been overturned. DNA evidence has exonerated someone. So don't think you know the whole story because, you know, you watch a lot of true crime. We have to stay open-minded and we really have to stay empathetic with these families. And that's mine and Chris's number one goal. So when it comes to the kids like last week, we are going to sit there and make sure that they understand it all, that they can finally have peace and move forward, which they've told us they have. And that's wonderful news to us. So I may not have been able to free a convict, no, but I'm doing my job, which this show requires.
Well, you're keeping people safe if you keep somebody who's guilty of these sorts of things behind bars as well. So, I mean, that's an incredible service. And honestly, it's something I admire, this tenacity that both of you have to really see these issues through and to look at each case freshly, which I just think is great. So thank you for the service.
And it's therapeutic. You're giving therapy to the families either way. And how many cases have you been responsible for overturning?
Overturning is interesting. I mean, there's a lot of cases in the works right now that are waiting for a retrial or appeals. What we've been responsible for, our experts in one of our episodes there's different lingo. So there is overturning a conviction. And then there is exoneration. There has been one that the conviction was overturned due to our fire experts' testimony.
Which one? Oh,
Claude Garrett. Claude Garrett. It's season 2. It's season 2. It's fire. It's a fire.
The one where you set the
he set a fire. We actually, interestingly, didn't get behind the case because there was some discrepancy in the story. I think we've learned from that case though, because our expert did help in the court, and that was overturned. We've had a lot, I'd say 5 early paroles now, early releases due to probably just the show alone, or we just had one that had an early release because his appeal is going forward and he was likely going to win. But what they do is, this is the way our system works, is people need to understand if you win, an overturning a conviction or exoneration, there's lawsuits filed, the city has to pay. A lot of things are involved in it that nobody really wants to get their hands dirty. So what they do is they dangle a really good offer that says, hey, credit for time served. What do you think? And it's cruel and it's an additional punishment because these people deserve exoneration. But what are you going to do if you've been behind bars for 30 years? Are you going to still risk it and say, no, I want to wait for my appeal? Most don't.
I'm out of there.
So, yeah. So there's been several, I'd say, I don't know, I think it's 5 early releases of parole, 1 conviction overturned, and 1 awaiting retrial.
I love that. And seriously, like, I've been binge watched Reasonable Doubt, and all the names kind of like I get lost in the names. I remember the details, but
Yeah, we do too. Don't worry.
Yeah, that word.
Do too. We're like,
you know, it is so delicious in how you set the whole stage, that you have the family, you meet with the family, and they give you the 5 leads for each of you. And Fatima does the leads for the legal follow-up, and Chris does the police investigation, if you will. And I love how it flows. And I gotta say, like, watching it, it's like in an instant I'm judge and jury, and I'm like, yeah, he's guilty. And most people I feel like are guilty on the show, like 90% or maybe 80% are guilty. And then I love to watch Chris's face. And I told him this when we did our clubhouse room, like, I can tell he's like the human lie detector in his bush. And I can tell if
everybody calls you that. I love it.
He's like,
I know.
and I know, like, it's like, I know what you're thinking, like, right now. What are you thinking? He's like, oh my God, she called me out.
He has the signature look to him. It's funny. I like this one. He does the whole, I'm always doing this.
I can't read Fatima's much, but
Because
Chris is like an open book.
I'm like, an opinion on guilt or innocence till the very end, because that's
you're like
my
very
job.
Stone.
I just try to listen.
But you're good. You're lovable.
I do ask Chris,
and you wear good heels too. You wear nice heels, by the way. I'm like, she's wearing heels again.
I do ask Chris sometimes. I'm like, can you teach me some of those, tips? And throughout the seasons, I've learned to have that gauge that he has. And he's like, you hear the way that, they were just deflecting the whole time, rather than just saying, I don't know. It's always something like deflecting. That. And I'm like, okay. But I don't like to do that, because then I don't want it to influence me in my day job and what I do. I'm the person who's the second, third chance girl. I'm going to say, maybe it didn't, maybe it did. We still love you. Go pray about it. Get forgiveness. And
your son's very lucky, Fatima.
He is.
He's
second, third chance.
Right.
He is. Yeah.
Here's the thing the reason why, if I'm ever in trouble, I would always call Fatima. Fatima is the first person that I'm gonna call to defend me, because look, she's gonna fight vigorously. She's gonna fight vehemently for you and your freedom. When she's in that mode. But we've learned that we all have lanes in this show. I can't be a defense attorney. I'm not a show producer. But I know my lane. That investigative work, that's what I've done for the past 27 years now, and I think I've made some, I've learned a thing or two. But one thing that I've never learned how to do is to have a poker face. I don't have a poker face. I'm not that type of person.
That's me.
If you say something to me that does not match with the physical evidence we have on the scene, or if you say something to me that I know I have evidence that proves otherwise, I'm going to give you a side twist, a little, wait a minute now, that doesn't match with what I've learned. And that was the case. That was part of the reason why we didn't get behind Claude Garrett's case. If y'all can still hear me, I dropped one of my ear mics.
We can hear you.
That was part of the reason why we didn't get behind the Claude Garrett case, because there was evidence in that case that we had access to that he says didn't happen. And that was the domestic violence that happened between he and his wife. And he told me that during his interview. Now, being armed with that information, it's part of the reason. That's part of the reason why we didn't get behind that case. But, but our experts were able to say that there was some testimony that was given in his case that shouldn't have been given, and it misled the jury, and that's the reason why his case was overturned. Which, I'm perfectly fine with that, but those are some of the reasons why you see the side turn, and you might hear I might do this, and my eyebrows will get raised, because I have evidence or something you said doesn't match.
I love it when you do that to me, because then when we're doing the
crap.
debrief, you do it to me, and then I'm like,
We're like,
okay, what? Like, bring it.
bring it on.
And then like
Chris.
we'll start to go at it, and then afterward I look at the producers and I'm like, wasn't that good TV? And then they don't even use it. And I'm like,
right,
Chris,
they use that of it.
why wouldn't you want Chris and I fighting? It's so fun.
That would be really fun. I mean,
Here's
to
the-
see sparring, like, or just a real difference of opinion.
We
You must
spar
have
so
difference
much.
of opinion.
It's normally him being the bigger person and going, okay, partner, okay.
But I don't fight with her. I'm not gonna fight with her. I mean, I'm not gonna. It'll probably, when I see that, especially if we get heated, if both of us believe into something so much, we're gonna fight for it. But I've gotten to the point where Fatima's like my little sister. Fatima is my little sister. You know how you have, I don't know if y'all have older brothers, but if you have a younger sister.
Look at
Oh,
him.
we lost
He's
Chris.
like telling you what you should be doing, Fatima. Like,
I know we lost
you're
him.
my little sister.
Connection
Yeah.
speed issue. But-
So, Fatima, what is he saying? Because I think you can read his mind right now.
He's probably saying that, I just like a little sister. She's not going to stop. I am the baby of my family. We are all Virgos. The whole production team are Virgos.
Really?
Oh, there you go, Karina. Yes.
Karina, you're a
Virgos-
Virgo too, right?
September 7th, baby. Yep,
Yeah.
right
Chris
in the
is
middle.
September 12th, as soon as he gets back.
Oh, that's my mom's birthday.
Mine is Friday.
She's gonna show you that.
Oh, look at her. Look at him. He's like telling you what to do. He doesn't even know he was frozen for like 2 minutes. Oh, he's frozen again.
He's frozen again.
Your birthday's Friday?
So my birthday's Friday. I celebrate 40. Mhm.
Oh, gosh. You're so
Yeah.
baby. You're a little baby.
Am I?
girl.
Thank you.
That's amazing. You're doing
yeah,
so many
so-
amazing things. 40 years old, and look at you. Like, did you
Oh,
ever
thank
think?
you.
Like, my question is like, you go to law school. I went to law school. Like, never in my mind. Estate planning, by the way. Did I ever think that there was going to be a reality show with my face on it?
My
Chris keeps getting stuck. Sorry, Chris. This is
That's
too much.
okay. Fatima's telling us all about you now.
Oh, really?
I-
I pretty much figured. I heard most of that. Just so
Oh, you
know.
did? Shoot.
No,
Okay.
I didn't. I didn't hear it.
I didn't, I honestly would never. I mean, this is not what you go to law school for, to be on TV. Honestly, my dreams were to be on Broadway one day. I'm such a Broadway geek.
Sing us
I'm a
something.
theater geek. No, I can't right now on the spot.
Yeah, you
but,
can.
A Broadway
Oh, you're going to wake your son up.
yeah. Although he loves to sing with me. And so I decided law school. I felt like that's definitely where I would be able to excel. When I got the call, I wasn't as open to it. I thought it sounded crazy. It sounded like just something that would disrupt my practice. And so they were like, well, let us just come and film you. So they came to my office and they filmed me, and they have like cameras right here. And I'm trying to talk to a client, and they're just like in my face. And I'm like, I'm sweaty in my suit, and I'm not feeling like
Pregnant?
myself. No, I wasn't
Oh.
pregnant yet. And then, the director, the producer afterward gives me feedback. Can you try this? And I'm like, you know what? Like, I know how to do my job. Like, I don't need this, right? Like, I don't even know what you guys want to do. At the time, I didn't really understand the project because it was kind of secretive because there was somebody else season one. So what it came down to was many months later too, they called me back and I said, I thought you guys forgot, and I hoped you had forgotten because this doesn't sound like it's up my alley. And they said, no, as a matter of fact, we'd like you. And I at first was hesitant, and so they just flew me to LA. They flew Chris to LA, and they just said, just meet your partner. This is the guy you'd be working with. You can pick his brain, ask him anything. And then if you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but you should know a little more about what it's like. And the rest is history. I met Chris, and, I know his heart. I know what kind of man he is. I know what kind of investigator he is.
Mm-hmm.
It showed early on. You just feel when a person is sincere and authentic in what they do and passionate. And I thought, ooh, we could make a good team. And then I thought, well, it's only going to be one season anyway, because you never know with these things. And here we are years later.
So was there something that you wish you'd known before you started this whole endeavor that you could share with us, and perhaps anybody interested in kind of pursuing anything in the film, TV arena could take that with them?
Oh, so, okay. Are you talking more television or more like this kind of work?
I think
Because
television.
we separate the two a bit. Like we have like, there's the show, which is fun, but then like we have our actual work that we do. So
give me both, from television and from that work perspective.
Oh, well, from television, what I could tell people is, holy moly, TV people work really hard. Like, my hours and days are longer doing the show than they are back at the office. I mean, it's really intense. I'll be like, guys, we're on 12 hours now. Like, I need sleep, and everybody else is just nice as can be. People get a little grouchy, but they don't vocalize it like me. I'm like, we need to go home. We need to eat. I'm obviously not built for television in that way. They are a hard working crew. And then when they're done filming, they're tearing everything down, and they're just the most pleasant people because they're all doing what they love. And it's very tiring work, but they love it. If you want to meet some incredible people and learn hard work and grit, do a TV show. It's not, I mean, we're sitting half the time in a parking lot eating our lunch, or, just things don't work out. We're trying to hunt a witness on the street and we're in the middle of Chicago in a borough that is not the safest. But everybody's doing their job because everyone's just honored to be a part of, especially a show like this. I think we all feel very blessed to be a part of this show, to be a part of one another's lives, and we want to do the best for each other. It's not just Chris and I who we bring our A game for one another. We bring it for the families. We bring it for the whole crew because everybody's working hard. So I'd say that was like the most mind-blowing thing for me.
If it were up to me, I mean, from the business end, as far as being on television, I would say the biggest thing. Excuse me.
Bless you.
The biggest. Thank you. The biggest thing that I've learned is, number one, to be responsible. It's not all of the glitz and glamour. If you think that you're going to come to there are some people that go into television and that's all they do. Fatima and I work every day. Outside of television, we still keep our 9 to 5 jobs. It's because we just love, the main reason is because we love what we do. I still love police work. I still love the profession. But when we come together for television, we're gonna put forth 100% effort into finding justice for these victims. For the families that bring us in, no matter which side or where we land, we're gonna bring it. But it's not all glitz and glamour. Don't go and quit your job and buy the biggest house in California and things of that nature.
Please, California?
Yeah. No.
Did y'all not hear the helicopter outside my door? Probably in my backyard.
But I think that our show, which is not a show for us, I think we have a much bigger purpose than just to give it this little, put it in this box and call it entertainment. It's much deeper, it's much bigger. And I think that it's impacting law enforcement as we know it. I think it's impacting the way that attorneys see cases as we know it. And as a whole, our entire criminal justice system, I think that what we're doing has an impact on all of it.
Well, I think you're inspiring young people. So,
well, and you're doing it with a purpose. Your mission is very purpose-based, and that makes it okay for you both to be away from your families for 2 weeks a month. And it just makes sense because you know that you're changing the world. You're changing the landscape of how cases are driven and exonerating people that are innocent. And there's a need for that. And not a lot of people probably want to advocate for those people. on
don't.
death row. No.
And the people don't want to hear their families when they make those cries for help, or those pleas of my loved one's innocent, my son didn't do it. People, they just go, oh, sure. And I think this show shows that other side, that these people are also victims. They deserve answers also. They're living behind bars despite the fact that they're free. So I think it's just the human connection also. Of course, our goal is to educate viewers who could be potential jurors one day, but there's a human connection to our show where compassion and empathy really takes precedent. I think that's what we lack a lot in true crime these days, because people want to glorify and watch a murder and they think it's entertaining, or people are like, well, I could learn from this. That's a lot of people's pain that is being televised, and it's hard for people to go through that over and over. So there needs to be a purpose behind it, and I think that's what helps Chris and I in doing the show. We know the purpose behind it, and it is absolutely not just for people to watch for entertainment purposes. You better learn something. You better go and tell your friends. You better exercise it when you're out and in a situation on any level, whether it's compassion, empathy, fighting for justice, asking questions, all of it.
Wow. This has been, I'm fangirling right now, Karina, if you can't tell. I want to kind of go over to the house and, hang out with them. I don't know. They're both like,
come on over, me and the kid here.
Oh, I've got boys now that could babysit your little baby boy. But it's so fascinating for me to understand the trajectory and the story behind the story. And as probably there might be some people disagreeing, but as your biggest fan, just to know that you guys are two people driven by a mission, making a difference with the Glam Squad. Hey, Ching. And, it is something so inspiring. I'm thinking Karina and I need a reality show or something.
And Chris and I are thinking, we need what you guys have. This little podcast thing looks fun. It looks
that's
fun.
just StreamYard, girl.
I know, just hanging with your bestie and talking.
Yeah.
That could be Chris and I all day.
Oh, well, you guys have a podcast though, too.
Well, we don't this season, unfortunately. So that's why we're like, let's just start our own podcast.
Good. And actually this audio, I'm not sure what that says. The audio you can just upload it to your RSS feed and you can pretend like you have a podcast. You can repurpose a lot of all the interviews that you guys are doing. You can repurpose it and upload it to your RSS feed. So you really don't have to do anything.
Oh, wow.
How about them apples?
I love it. Julie's going to show us.
Woo! Okay. But you guys are amazing. Okay. And I don't want to say goodbye. And I know Karina's like, Julie, she's giving me the look like, Julie, the time has come.
Okay. Well, we ask all of our guests to say just a couple of words on exit. And we like it with feeling and with style. And that's just the two words, kick it.
Kick it. Okay.
Let's kick it.
Kick it.
Do it together. Can we get it together?
Oh.
Okay. All right.
1, 2, 3. Kick it.
Kick it.
Chris, this is how we are on television. This is basically what happens.
Cut. Redo. Take 5.
Did I come in too early or was it late?
I love you so much, partner. I don't know what's going on over there with your delay.
It's
Have you had bourbon tonight already? Have you had bourbon?
No, not yet. It's
bourbon.
Oh yeah.
It's cookie juice.
It's cookie juice. Yeah,
It helps him. It helps him work better. Yeah, he's a better
Cookie
investigator.
juice. That's actually a really good name for a podcast. You guys should get it together.
Oh.
Listen together.
Cookie
Call it
juice.
Cookie Juice.
We would need Rob for that. I can't really handle my bourbon. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Kick
it.
Kick it.
Is it
They
coming
tried.
in late?
I think there's a
good.
delay in
gotta
Alabama.
be
That's
the
all right.
delay,
You're from
yeah.
Alabama. You guys do things a little slower.
Slow on the uptake. All right. We love you guys. Check out
Hey,
Reasonable Doubt. I don't know if is a reverb. We can cut this out, but check out Reasonable Doubt. It's my favorite. I'm going to jump into bed right after this and watch the latest episode Tuesday nights on Investigation Discovery. Check out everything in the show notes, and get obsessed with Fatima and Chris like I am.
Yeah, it's a great show. You can find it on Amazon Prime too, because that's where I go for a lot of this stuff. I got an episode special for only $1.50 to check it out. It was fun. So nice. And I just think there's so many ways to get your content now. So you can subscribe, of course, to Discovery Plus, or you can, find it even on Amazon. Everything's on Amazon these days. It's crazy, huh?
Check out Reasonable Doubt. It's my favorite. I'm going to jump into bed right after this and watch the latest episode Tuesday nights on Investigation Discovery. Check out everything in the show notes and get obsessed with Fatima and Chris like I am.
Yeah, it's a great show. You can find it on Amazon Prime too, because that's where I go for a lot of this stuff. I got an episode special for only $1.50 to check it out. It was fun. So nice. And I just think there's so many ways to get your content now. So you can subscribe, of course, to Discovery Plus, or you can, find it even on Amazon. Everything's on Amazon these days. It's crazy, huh?
Everything.
All right. Stick around for just a minute. Jules, are
Thank
ready to kick it?
you. Thanks for having us.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Media Casters. You can keep this conversation going and kick it with Karina and Jules in live office hours each week. Visit themediacasters.mn.co to sign up. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe whenever you listen. Let's kick it.